The shed door creaks open. The air is heavy with the scent of old oil and sawdust. Arthur, 82, steps into the dim light, a rusted spanner gripped in his hand. Beside him, Leo stands stiffly, his eyes fixed on a tablet screen that glows with a generic repair manual. Arthur does not look at the device. He moves to the engine block, running a calloused thumb over the cold,
unyielding surface. He is searching for the hairline crack that has silenced the motor.
Leo shifts, holding the tablet out, but Arthur ignores the glowing display entirely. He leans in, his breathing steady, listening to the silence of the machine. He adjusts his wrench, feeling the weight of the steel, and applies a calculated, rhythmic pressure. There is a sharp, metallic snap as the bolt gives way. Arthur wipes his palms on his work cloth and glances at the younger man. "The manual tells you the torque," he says, his voice cutting through the quiet. "But it does not tell you when the metal is about to yield. You have to listen to the steel." This is a conversation between human and machine, a language etched into his skin. Decades ago, Britain was built on this silent language. In soot-stained shipyards and cramped village garages, men like Fred Dibnah mastered the steam engine, not by reading manuals, but by dismantling every piston and gear until the machine functioned as an extension of their own nerves.
They carried the history of industry in their knuckles. Then the world shifted. Repair shops vanished, squeezed out by the rise of sealed boxes and disposable electronics.
We traded the tactile mastery of a chisel for the convenience of an order button.
A library of human experience began to burn, one retirement at a time. The knowledge of how things work,
how they break, and how they are revived is being replaced by the ease of replacement.
Arthur watches the young man standing in the light of the workshop, sensing the weight of what is being lost. It is not just about a broken motor.
It is about a fundamental disconnect between the hand and the object. The world outside may favor the consumer, but in this corner, the memory of the builder persists, standing against the tide of a disposable age. Arthur reaches into the shadow of the bench and pulls a welding torch from its cradle. He pushes the tool into Leo's hand. The weight of it makes the young man stumble. "Your turn," Arthur commands. Leo steps forward, his boots sliding on the concrete. He positions the nozzle against the joint.
But his grip is tight, awkward, and trembling. He pulls the trigger. A violent hiss fills the room as the arc flares, blinding and erratic. The metal does not fuse. Instead, it sputters. A shower of jagged sparks explodes outward, stinging the air. Molten slag drips onto the floor, cooling instantly into a black, uneven mess. The silence that follows is heavy. Leo pulls back, his face flushed, eyes fixed on the ruined surface of the steel. He has failed.
The gap between intention and action is wider than he imagined. Arthur does not laugh. He does not offer a platitude. He watches the mess, his expression unreadable, as the smoke clears from the workbench.
Leo looks at his own hands, then back at the torch, the realization of his own incompetence settling in like lead.
The challenge is no longer theoretical. It is physical, and it is unforgiving. Arthur moved into the space between the bench and the young man. He reached out and placed his calloused hand directly over Leo's grip.
The metal was cooling, but the air still tasted of ozone. "Do not look at the light,"
Arthur said, his voice dropping into a low, steady rhythm. "The light is a distraction. Look at the puddle. Watch how the steel moves like water." Leo shifted his focus. He saw the shimmering, molten pool forming at the tip of the electrode. Arthur's steady hand corrected the angle of the torch, tilting it just a fraction to keep the heat concentrated. The arc hummed, shifting from a chaotic sputter to a smooth, constant blue flicker. Leo held his breath, his knuckles white against the torch handle. He felt the vibration travel through his arm, a direct connection to the fusion of the two pieces. The metal flowed, smoothed, and hardened in a perfect, continuous bead. As the torch clicked off, the silence returned, filled now with the faint crackle of cooling steel.
Leo pulled back. His face was smudged with soot, but his eyes were sharp, focused.
He stared at the bond he had created, a permanent mark on the raw material. The hesitation was gone. He looked at his own hand.
Then back to the workbench, a sudden, quiet realization dawning in his expression. He knew he could do this.
The bond held. Leo ran a thumb over the seam, feeling the heat radiate from the steel. It was solid. Arthur stepped back, the floorboards creaking under his weight. He did not say a word about the progress, but the set of his shoulders had changed. He moved toward the door, his movements measured and deliberate. He paused, looking over his shoulder at the workbench where a pile of raw timber and cold steel waited for the next project. The future does not need more people who know how to buy, he said, his voice echoing in the quiet space. It needs people who know how to build. He did not look back again. The heavy door groaned as he pulled it open, letting in a shaft of fading daylight before it clicked shut behind him. He left the toolbox wide open on the bench. Leo stood alone in the center of the shop. The scent of ozone and machine oil hung thick in the air. He reached out, his fingers hovering over the handle of the hammer. He did not grab it like an intruder, but with the steady, practiced rhythm he had watched all afternoon. The cycle was not broken. It was simply waiting. Leo lifted the tool, felt the balance of it in his palm, and turned back to the steel. The work was only just beginning.